Hey guys, Austin Wilson here. I've been getting some comments on my shoulder rig DIY that I built about the offset pieces from this $30 shoulder support being prone to breakage. So what I want to do is I want to test how much weight this little unit can handle to see how far you can push it before it actually breaks. The very first thing that I noticed when I got this thing in the mail was that the bolts for each of these pieces didn't go very far through each of the plates. Now they may be stuck out about a quarter, maybe even less than a quarter of an inch is how far they came out through the plastic. So the first thing I did was I peeled back this rubber stuff that was on there, and as you can see there's a nut in each of these offset pieces. I don't know if you can see that nut right there, but that nut allows you to adjust the distance on how far that screw comes through each of the offset pieces. Now, what I thought first of was that maybe the screw didn't go through far enough, and that's where it's breaking because there's not enough screw going through the threads in the offset pieces. Another thing that I thought might happen is that each of these offset pieces has about a quarter inch of threading in there, so I'm assuming there's a bolt actually inside the plastic here. So the first thing I did was I adjusted this nut, made sure that our bolts for the two offset pieces would come through further than a quarter of an inch. So I adjusted this to make sure that each of these threads comes through the plastic further than a quarter inch. So we'll have more contact with each of these offset pieces. So we got the entire rig set up with both the offset pieces because I want to find out how much stress each of these joints will handle, because that's what people have been saying. I've been getting comments about the offset pieces being the problem, not the actual shoulder piece itself. I'm a little concerned about this guy here. I've had an HVX 200 on here, and I noticed that this tweaks just a little bit. This little arm here kind of bends here and there depending on how much weight is on the end of this guy. So I'm going to put some weights in a bag, and we're going to see how much stress this guy can handle, and we'll see how much weight we can put on it. Two of these 6-pound weights I'm going to throw in there. One 10-pound weight and one of these kind of weights. So between the two we got 32 pounds we're going to try to put on the end of this thing and see how much weight it can handle. If it can handle 32 pounds, it can handle a pretty decent sized camera. So we're going to figure that out here real quick. So see if we can adjust this thing a little bit. So right now we got 10 pounds inside of here, hanging off the end of this shoulder right here. Sorry, it's just adjusting itself in the bag there. So right now, initially we got 10 pounds. We can bounce around with it a little bit. We're going to see how much stress it can handle. 10 pounds, and that's more weight than an HVX 200 or a Sony EX1. Definitely, you know, more weight than any DSLR. I'm assuming even with, you know, a pretty decent size rail system and mat box and accessories, 10 pounds is probably more than what you're going to put on there. So we got about 10 pounds on there so far, which feels pretty heavy. Now at this point I wouldn't want to carry anything more than that on here because it puts a bit of stress on the chest part of the shoulder rig here. Alright, see if we can handle another 10 pounds. Let's go to 20. Alright, so right now we got 20 pounds in there. 20 pounds is quite a lot. We're going to bounce it a little bit. We're going to see if it seems like it's going to hold up pretty good. Now right now it's moving down a little bit. This little joint here is actually sliding because the screw is not in tight enough, but right now we got 20 pounds on the end of this thing, okay? So let's go for 26. Whoops, it's coming off of there. 26 pounds. Alright, now that's getting real heavy. There's probably no camera that you're going to put in there that's going to be 26 pounds on this type of shoulder rig. So right now we got 26 pounds hanging off the end of this $30 shoulder support. So let's go for 32 and max this guy out. See how much we can handle. There you go. There's 32 pounds on the end of this $30 shoulder rig. Now, that was after I adjusted each of the bolts so that it would go through just a little bit further and completely go all the way through the threading on each offset piece. So there you have it. 32 pound weight test on the $30 shoulder support. So, look it over. I don't see any sort of stress fracturing or any sort of place where I thought it might break. So, for those of you who had some doubts about the $30 shoulder rig, that it wouldn't be sufficient enough, you know, maybe you have a heavy camera to put on there. So let's try a HVX 200 and see what that guy looks like on there. See how well it fits. Alright, so now we know that it can handle the weight of a pretty decent sized camera. Now the reason why I wanted to show you guys this was because I really like these offset pieces. Between both of the offsets, you can adjust a little bit enough to bring the height up and the camera forward or side to side, so you can adjust this guy here, turn it toward me so I can actually face it right into my eye here on the shoulder support. And this thing only weighs about 6 pounds, which feels much lighter than all the weight that I had in there. But as you can see, you can use these offsets to adjust the position of the camera enough to see properly through the LCD or even the viewfinder, depending on your height. For somebody like me, it works out perfect. So I've used this shoulder support many times at work with this HVX 200 and also with my Canon DSLR, and I really like it. You know, I mean, it's hands-free, you can let go of it, and I mean, for 30 bucks, it does the job. So that's my weight test review on the $30 Cowboy Studio shoulder support.